Hey everybody, welcome to this very special episode. If you don't know who I am, I'm Joe Parker, a Santa Barbara local, a real estate professional here in town, and an enthusiast of local businesses. I love spotlighting the local businesses in town, and in particular, as of lately, I'm really interested in the ones that are in business to help the wellness of our community. And I'm really getting attracted to these ones, trying to understand what's going on, how are they operating, how are they supporting the community. So today I'm at a very special new business here in Santa Barbara. This is District 216, and I'm sitting with Jacob Tell here, one of the creators, owners of District 216. You're probably asking, what is District 216? And so that's what we're here to tell you all about. It's a private psychedelic social club. So if that didn't get your interest, I don't know what will, but stay tuned to learn more about what we're talking about. So Jacob, welcome, nice to have you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming down.
I should say, actually, thanks for having me, because you're actually having me in your spot here, which is incredible. We are located where? Just downtown on Gutierrez?
Yeah, the name 216, where did it come from? We are at 216 East Gutierrez Street.
I didn't pick up on that. That was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah,
check that
question off. This is the seed of the birthplace of what we hope to become a multi-geography, multi-location venture, a national brand. And starting it here in this creative location, it's an homage to the physical geography of where we are.
Epic. All right, so let's pull back a little bit. First, introduce the viewers. Who are you and how did you get here, briefly, because I know that's probably a huge story and we could spend a whole interview on that, but just briefly, how did we end up here with you starting this club in Santa Barbara?
Sure. I mean, bullet points, UCSB alum, graduated in early 2000s, started a brand strategy marketing agency in 2001, was lucky enough to be working with the music industry from the get-go. We got in with Jack Johnson on his first album. We're agency of record for Jack Johnson still to this day, 22 years later. And so along that ride, we've gone through working with major labels, starting our own record label, producing events, putting on festivals, bringing community together to gather and do events. And then on the agency side, it's been everything from brand strategy to creative direction to web production to basically storytelling meets technology is our sweet spot. And over the years, we've diversified from music to lifestyle brands to cannabis and now psychedelics. So all of these things naturally kind of came together, put it in a blender, and out my new venture comes District 216.
Very innovative, very on point to what is kind of trending in society these days, I'd say, as far as topics of interest, people who have never experienced anything to do with psychedelics. Maybe something is a bit of a turnoff when they hear the word psychedelic. So without diving too deep into that subject yet, how would you describe District 216 to somebody who has nothing to do with it, has no clue about it, and they're asking you what you're up to here?
Yeah, it's a community. So this is not my social club or my community, it's our community. We want this place to be a really awesome, open, safe place for people to come learn, share, grow, connect. We bring in amazing speakers. We talk about our 4 pillars of content: art, music, cannabis, and psychedelics. The common thread there being consciousness expansion. And we connect with one another and we listen actively and we learn and we grow together. So this place is really for the community.
And what should someone expect to experience if they come visit? Let's say, I know you mentioned you're doing lecture series and social events and other things to fill in. Let's say someone wants to dip their toe in. What would they experience with a lecture event?
Sure. So first of all, we have 2 major kinds of events. We have our Wednesday evenings at the District House, which is where we are now. Those are usually 20, 30, 40 people coming into the space to experience a certain type of event, lectures being one of those. And then the second kind of event on a quarterly basis are our bigger marquee events. These are 250 to 300 person discussion panel, live band, comedy, food, vendor booths, networking. Those are very much a different vibe than what you could expect on a Wednesday evening.
Okay. And so can community members experience all these things without being a member of the social club?
Yes, we do sell guest tickets, and also our members are allowed to bring guests as well as part of their membership. So we absolutely have new faces Tonight, for example, we're excited that the Santa Barbara newcomers are going to be bringing a cohort of guests to try out District 216 for the first time.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great exposure to a whole demographic of people who may be feeling like they're circling back, because I think newcomers is a majority of retirees.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, probably.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So where does District 216 fit in this whole dialogue, this movement, this time in our society where the use of psychedelic assisted therapy is becoming more mainstream, more available for everybody, and the use of microdosing psychedelics like psilocybin mushrooms?
Yeah.
Where exactly does District 216 hope to fit in that movement?
Sure, great question. So really, when you talk about the landscape of psychedelics, you've got recreational use, you've got therapeutic use, you've got community spiritual use, and you've got medical, use. So there's this wide range of uses of various compounds and psychedelics. We would like to be agnostic and not say we're only promoting one end of that spectrum or the other. We're bringing in speakers and having conversations about the entire spectrum, from what do I do if I'm very experienced but want to microdose, maybe for anxiety, depression, PTSD, to maybe other people that are brand new to the space and are looking for what is it like to do something ceremonially, or should I go to find a ketamine doctor? There's a big variety of sort of archetypes of people that come here, from novices all the way to psychonauts, and we want to be an open, inviting space for everyone.
Excellent. Yeah, I could see how a lot of people who don't understand all those different, I don't know what you call it, pillars of
applications maybe?
of psychedelic use, but I think they typically default to the recreational, full blast, lose your mind for 12 hours type of situation, which some people partake in and can be profoundly impactful on their lives. But there's all these other things that I think is really important to educate people, that the subject also includes these other kind of modalities of the use of these compounds,
Yep.
And with different interactions with groups of people. And so it seems like one of your biggest hurdles may be like, how do you get through to people and let them know, like from their initial reaction, like, oh no, I'd never go to someplace like that,
Yep.
to like, oh wow, I had no idea all these different varieties and different approaches to this exist. How do you get through that initial?
Absolutely. I'd love to invite them in. If they're not willing to necessarily come in person to an event, come do our free trial on our app and come look at the content. Watch the interviews, watch the discussion panels, interact with members there, see the resources that we have to start dipping your toe in and educating yourself on what this landscape, what this psychedelic ecosystem is all about. One thing I will say is, coming out of the pandemic, I think a lot of us, there's been a huge uptick in depression, anxiety, suicide, all sorts of different kinds of traumas and that we collectively and individually have been dealing with. And I think people want to take healing into their own hands. And I think that psychedelics are powerful tools that allow us a whole new range of ways to heal, whether that's by ourselves, with our partners, in small groups, in community, with therapists, with doctors. And so this allows for connectivity for people to find those people if they don't have them. Or I've had a lot of members come and say, I didn't really feel connectivity in Santa Barbara until District 216. Now I've found my community, I found my tribe. So we're hoping that that can be the case for more and more folks, both physically in the space when you come to an event, as well as online in our app.
Yeah, it feels like the community at large has a lot of curiosity around the subject, although I think many wouldn't admit that they have the curiosity around the subject. Mm-hmm. And what I love about what you're doing here is that you're making it so approachable for people when they're feeling brave or inspired or whatever, to kind of scratch that curiosity and visit the website, see what it's all about. Like you said, see some of the programming you might have on there. I think you also Zoom some of these, so there might be ways to access some of the content, some of the speakers via Zoom. So I love how you're providing an approachable way for people to dip their toe and kind of scratch that curiosity to learn more about this subject, which, I'm with you. I think it's a profound way for the community to come together, to learn more about themselves, to understand the nature of life, consciousness, all these bigger subjects which are so hard to articulate and put into words. But when you create a space like District 216 that invites people to come in, let down their guards, have these conversations with people that are similarly curious and wanting to discuss it, it's a great way to build a community. So
absolutely. I mean, one thing I want to say is that we really believe in freedom of cognition. You know, I believe personally that we should be able to make decisions for ourselves, for our health, for our wellness, for what we put into our bodies, for our relationship with different compounds. Our government has decided to take the approach of a 50-year plus war on drugs and to arbitrarily say that certain plants are not okay while promoting alcohol and tobacco and caffeine and all these other industries that they can monetize. Well, I think people have had enough of that, and we're to the point now where we can take some of that control back of our relationship, learn more about these things so we can have a healthy relationship with these compounds, find their value and benefits, and approach our life accordingly.
Amazing, amazing. Great job. Well, let's remind everybody how they could find District 216 again if they want to come visit, or...
so District216.com has all of our events. We have a full calendar through the end of 2023 and all the way starting into January as well. Every single Wednesday night, there's something going on. It's either a lecture, an interview, a workshop, a roundtable conversation, a documentary screening. We try to mix up the content. So sometimes it's sit and listen and learn. Sometimes it's share and engage and interact. Sometimes it's watch and discuss after. So a lot of formats there. Obviously on social media, you can find us District216 Official on Instagram and all the other platforms. You can search our name that way. We'd love to have you at an event. And if nothing else, check out our app through the website, District216.com.
Epic. All right. Well, Jacob, thank you for having the courage to make this dream a reality and grow this into something. I think you're onto something amazing here. So I appreciate you for doing this for our city of Santa Barbara. So I'm rooting for you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for everything you've done to build and cultivate community. You're an inspiration as well.
Thanks, brother.
Really appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, everybody, for watching.